Garage. Today we're going to install the Mach 1000 in the Redfire car. So we'll go through the list of what you're going to need to get it done. It's a pretty straightforward, quick, easy install. I'll show you guys what wires to tap into, where to mount things up, and how to get it to work with the stock Mach 460 head unit. So the first thing you have to do is find a complete Mach 1000 system or get ready to spend some money piecing it together. So we got lucky and found this one locally, and this is pretty much all that's to it. You've got both your subs, you've got your amp rack, and you've got your brackets, which are probably the biggest piece of this. You have got to find the brackets, otherwise you won't be able to mount this correctly in the trunk. The provisions are already in the trunk to mount these brackets on any 99 to 04 car, I believe. And then you're gonna have to make your own wiring harness. I got lucky with mine because it came with the pigtail ends from the car. The guy that took this out of the car was smart enough to cut the ends off of the harness coming out of the car. So I can plug into the Mach 1000 without having to cut these pigtails off. If you guys can't find the male ends, you can snip these off and hardwire this in just as well. So we'll go through and we'll show you what to do. The first thing I'm gonna do today is kind of put a little bit of kill mat in the trunk. And this time I'm trying Amazon's stuff. On the silver car, I did kill mat and I did the entire trunk, back seat under the floor, under the back seats, all done. This car, I don't have as much left. I'm just gonna, piece some spots together and we'll go from there. So first thing you gotta do is get the trunk ripped out, get everything out of here. This way you can install your brackets. And the brackets are gonna go into these grommets right here. I took a razor knife and I slit a small slice in the grommets so that the studs on the brackets can push through. If you try to just push them through without relief cutting it, it'll push the grommets through the body and you'll have them on the floor under the car. So that's what you have to do on both of these grommets. So I'm gonna get those sliced real quick and then I'll get the brackets in place and show you guys. So if your brackets didn't come with hardware, take them up to the local hardware store. You're gonna need some nuts and bolts here and some washers. Actually, I'm sorry, you're not gonna need any bolts, you're just gonna need nuts and washers. So on the underside of the bracket, these are the long studs that go through those grommets we talk about. And then under the car, you're gonna put a rubber grommet on with a washer and a nut. So basically you'll slide this grommet on, put a washer on it, and then a nut. And that's what it's gonna look like under the car. You'll see where it comes out. This is just all hardware from Ace Hardware. You can get online and probably track down the hardware for this, but it's not worth the effort. I found stuff that's gonna work just fine. So once you've relief cut those grommets in the car, you can get this camera angled right. This is just gonna set in here. Just like that. So I've got them both in. I'm gonna take some kill mat and I'm going to put it over the brackets as well to help secure them and just kind of sound deaden it a little bit more. And then I'll get under the car and I'll bolt those grommets and washers and nuts to hold the studs in place. So stand by while we put the rest of this kill mat in. All right, so you can see I got the kill mat in, and again, I'm gonna have to get more of this. This is just what I had sitting in the toolbox. So eventually I'll get a couple more packs of this and do the entire trunk like I did on the silver car. But car still has the original jack, tire iron, and it still has the original spare. So that's gonna go back in the car. I think it's just a cool nostalgic piece, and I'm sure most of these don't have those anymore. This thing was pretty nasty. Simple Green took care of it. So I'm gonna set that back in there, and then we'll start talking about wiring for this system. And again, this is pretty straightforward. So there's two options you can do here with your head unit. You can either use the stock Mach 460 head unit, or you can find a Mach 1000 head unit. Those are available on eBay. They're about $500, and all it is there's a button in the top right corner that says Mach, and I'm guessing it's just like a remote signal wire. You press that and it turns the subs on. Without that, it's just the regular Mach 460. The way we're gonna wire it is gonna be so that the subs are on full time, which is how I have it in my silver car anyway. I never turn them off with the Mach button. The silver car has the Mach 1000 head unit. It's in Chris's right now, so when I get it back, I'll show you guys the difference in a quick short. But anyway, so now that the brackets are in place, again, you gotta bolt them up under the car, but for now, we're gonna just go ahead and start putting this trunk back together. And I'll show you guys the wiring that you have to cut into or tap into on the Mach 460 amp rack to get your signal to your Mach 1000. So on the passenger side at the amp, on the Mach 460 amp rack, there's a plug that plugs in facing the rear bumper. It plugs in right there on that amp rack. You're gonna wanna unplug that. This is gonna be your signal wire for your Mach 1000. I believe that orange wire is if you have the Mach 1000 head unit. We're not gonna connect that. You're gonna have 3 wires coming off of the Mach 1000 harness that we're gonna use. So you've got a gray, a blue, and a green. Okay? Unplug that. Take your male connector that was on the car, and you're gonna wanna extend those wires out. Now I extended them out and I labeled which one was which. I got these taps off Amazon. They're just crimp-on taps. This way I don't have to cut the stock harness. If you don't have the male coming out of the car, you can cut the end off of this connector on the amp rack and hardwire this in to the car itself. I would try to find the pigtail. In case you have to remove this, you can disconnect that without having to cut wires. So all we're gonna do now, take these 3 taps and tap these 3 corresponding wires, green to green, gray to gray, blue to blue. Once that's done, your signal wire is now tapped in to turn your amp rack on. So I'm gonna tap those and we'll get going from there. All right guys, so that's all tapped in now. I've got it taped up, looks nice, good to go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug this back into the amp, and then we're gonna have our wire here. All right, I'm gonna go inside the car and run that up back along the amp rack so it's not hanging down. plenty of places to zip tie this up back here onto the stock wiring harness. Leave yourself slack. Like I said, I would highly recommend finding the male pigtails off of a donor car so that this thing's not hardwired in where you can't remove it if you need. Leave yourself enough slack when you make the wire as well. See, it's going to sit right there. It's going to be perfect. This is a cleaner install than my silver car. The guy that did it on the silver car was, I think, the third owner. He didn't loom any of the wiring. He just has bare wires kind of hanging around. So I'm going to go through and fix all that eventually. All right. Signal wires installed. Next step is going to be making your power wire. You're going to need to get 4-gauge ground and 4-gauge positive wire. You're going to need 5 feet of ground, roughly, and then like 15 feet of the red. This is the harness off the car, the donor car, the end. What you're going to do is you're going to cut and strip these wires. So you've got purple, white and purple, and black and green. The white and both white and purple are going to be twisted together. Both purples and blues are going to be twisted together, and those are going to be connected to the power wire. The black and the green get twisted together, and those are your grounds. So you're going to have 4 wires tied together going to your power wire, and 2 wires twisted together going to your ground. I soldered this all, I heat shrinked it, and wrapped it. This is going to plug into the amp rack. This is going to go up to your fuse panel under the hood. Pretty straightforward. These 4 wires get twisted together. These 2 wires get twisted together. Ground, positive. Get you the right tools to do this. Battery gauge crimping tool. Get you some 4-gauge battery lugs. Heat gun. And we're going to connect that ground to the same ground over here where everything else is grounded. Any one of these will be sufficient. This is your boosted pump ground, and then you've just got some body mounts there. So I'm going to ground it where everything else is grounded. I'm going to crimp this end on. I'm going to leave myself some slack, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the trunk panels back in. Now we're going to get the mat back in on the floor. You're going to have to make some cuts in this mat for the new studs that come out of the floor for the Mach 1000 system. Give a shout out to my boy Gil. This man played some serious golf, and he drove this car to the golf course probably every time. I have found golf tees, golf balls, golf pencils, and a ton of grass. On top of that, the back bumper was scuffed up from the golf bag being taken in and out, and the weather stripping right here is torn up. And on top of that also, right here on this back cover is there's a hole worn in it where he was putting his golf bag up against there. So, Gil, I know you enjoyed the car, taking it to the golf course. I'm enjoying it now as well. Got the trunk back together. All we have to do now is cut some holes in the carpet for the studs that come out. You can see our plug back there, and you can see the second plug hanging toward the back left of the screen. Wouldn't be an SVT garage video if there wasn't some kind of lawn service going on. So let me get this carpet cut back here, and then we'll start putting the system in the trunk.
Level low.
All right, see the studs coming through the carpet. Gonna set this back amp rack in place now.
Level low.
One thing I should add, guys, before you go doing all this, make sure that you have tested the system the way you had it wired. I have already mocked this up before this video and tested it. You can see right here, the rack is installed. The next step is to put the subs in. All right, guys, so everything's installed here. The amp, the subs, everything's all secured and mounted. We're gonna go in the back. Got to run this power wire still. Show you guys the two plugs here. So this is the plug that goes to the amp rack. It's gonna plug in down at the bottom. This is your power wire and your ground. Let's see, plugs in right there. That's it. Done. I'm gonna fire it up, test it out before I run this power wire the rest of the way. I'll check back with you guys in a few minutes. I can't test it out because the music will get copyrighted, so I gotta do it off video. Stand by. All right, guys, we just tested it out. Y'all gotta find yourself one of these systems if you can. I'm telling you, it's an absolute game changer. It sounds so good in the silver car, and then it hits just as hard in this car. I'm so excited for this, and I listen to all kinds of music, all kinds of genres, so you gotta find yourself one. I mean, it's awesome. But anyway, let's wrap this up. I gotta run this positive wire. Gonna run it out under the dash into the engine bay, we'll get that connected, and that'll be it for this project. So stand by while we get this thing finished. All right, guys, so we got everything ran through the car. We loomed our wire up. Anytime you're running wires, guys, loom them up. Nothing more tacky than red and blue and green and all kinds of different colored wires running around through the engine bay. Loom this thing up with the proper wire loom. Heat shrink your ends. Make it look like it came from the factory. We're gonna hook this up to the distribution block, and that's gonna be it for this install. Look at that. Clean. All right, guys. We're done. This thing sounds awesome. Super excited. If y'all can find one, I highly recommend it. I appreciate you following along. This is Ryan from SVT Garage. Stay tuned for the next one.